This is going to be a video about my study technique and what I recommend to my tutees to do when studying and what I use myself when studying for an exam. So if I have a class that gives out a study guide, what I normally do is I study as much as I can first until I feel as though I'd be ready to take the actual exam. And then that's when I turn to my study guide and I pretty much use my study guide as if it were the actual test. So I'll time myself taking it and give myself the same time that I would have on a real test. So I know if I know the material well enough to do it in that allotted time period. I won't use any extra materials that I wouldn't have on the actual test, meaning I'm not going to use my textbook to help me through the problems. I'm not going to use my notes. I'm just going to use the same materials that I would be given on an exam, like my periodic table. I would use that. I also wouldn't use any technology or tools that I wouldn't be able to use on the actual exam, meaning if I wasn't allowed to use my calculator, I'm not going to use it for my study guide. I'm going to take it exactly the way that I would take it during testing day. So then once I finish my test, I go through and I look at everything that I got incorrect, and I figure out what section of my textbook it's from, and from there I reread the whole section and do the practice problems associated with that section so that I get a better understanding and really understand where I went wrong or what I missed last time, and so that I'll be ready when the actual exam comes, because not every problem is going to be exactly the same on a test when you go in. Just because you got that exact problem wrong doesn't mean that that exact problem will show up, but something from that section might have shown up. So that's pretty much the technique that I use to study and what I recommend to my tutees. I'm back to finish this video because I did not hit the 3-minute mark. So another study technique that I like to use and I recommend for my tutees is on these study guides that I take, I use a highlighter to highlight the main points of what a question is asking me. Like if it says, which of the following is not correct, I'll highlight not correct so that when I'm going to solve things, I don't pick the one that is correct as the answer, because that's what you would generally do when doing multiple choice. You pick the right answer. So I just highlight it so that I'll remember when I'm solving it, I'm looking for the one that's not the right answer. Or if it's something like, which of the following is not true, or if it's saying true or false, and then you have to explain why it's false. If it is false, I'll highlight the last part so I don't forget to explain why it's false. Yeah, pretty much just recommend highlighting key points in a question so that you remember exactly what it's asking for you, so you don't solve the wrong part of the question. Okay, now that is the end. Thank you for watching.